gabapentin and tramadol and dihydrocodone and codeine and see if the fog and chaos lifts. These painkillers are a squash and a squeeze, and it is time for us to act like the wise old man or woman that our patients expect. Dr. Peter Churn, GP partner in Harbour's medical practice from a couple of years ago. I did write to him at the time to say I loved it, because I loved a squash and a squeeze when the kids were growing up.
Wow, that's fab. Of course, you need to be aware of the withdrawal effects, because they'll be pretty severe if you took all them off. But yeah, I think we would go with that sentiment, wouldn't we?
Definitely. Do you know, I worked with this amazing A&P in Wrexham who was fabulous. She was dual trained in mental health and physical health, but had worked in prisons and had a special interest in deprescribing. So we set up a deprescribing service. And again, it proves the power of that human interaction, because she's one of the kindest people I've ever met and one of the loveliest clinicians. And actually, patients would come out of her room smiling and really grateful to her. And she would say, I've just stopped there, whatever, or just reduced it. So she'd taken something off them, and they were really grateful. And you think, it's all about that human interaction. It's so powerful.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on tonight, Karen.
Yeah, so a big thank you for joining us on the Oral Apothecary and for sharing your stories and your desert island drugs. A BNF chapter, we'll have to come back to that. Her career anthem and your book, Karen. Coming up next time, we'll be joined by Dr. Tessa Lewis. Tessa is also a general practitioner and a therapeutics and medical advisor with a particular interest in antimicrobial stewardship, anticoagulation, multimorbidity and medication review. Tessa, of course, is the author of the No Tears Medication Review. So we're looking forward to catching up with Tessa next time on the Oral Apothecary. Over to Gimmo now for our contact details and the final ingredient.
Okay, so you can speak to us on Twitter at Oral Apothecary and send us an email at oralapothecarypod@gmail.com. Just a quick social media shout out. Paul Baker posted on Twitter about the book Thinking Fast and Slow. We've mentioned the book a couple of times. It's one of our favourites by Daniel Kahneman, about the 2 modes of thinking and how they affect decision making. Well, Paul's definitely been thinking slow, as he tweeted about first buying it 9 years ago, and he still hasn't read it. So we'll be back in 2030 for the review, Paul. Thanks for sharing that with us. My final sort of word is a quote that I just read today, and I really liked it, on improvement. It's an area that we're all interested in. Test ideas by experiment and observation. Build on those ideas that pass the test. Reject the ones that fail. Follow the evidence wherever it leads, and question everything, including authority. Do these things and the cosmos is yours. And that was a quote by Anne Duran, who's a science writer and a producer of the TV series Cosmos.
This was a 3 Apothecaries production. Sound engineer Jimbo Slough. Original music Jamie Brewster. Artwork by David Baker.
This episode of the Oral Apothecary is sponsored by OneLessPill.com, a medicines optimization consultancy.
Thanks for listening to the Oral Apothecary podcast. For maximum effect, instill weekly.